Happy holidays. December 25th, 2025, episode 621. This is episode 621. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. Shall we? Florida man, Florida and Texas, like bookends, kills wife, shoots stepdaughter in murder-suicide over TV argument days before Christmas.
Crystal told her 12-year-old son to go call 911. So the 12-year-old flees to the neighbor's house in order to dial 911, and as he's leaving the house, he hears a gunshot. Deputies arrive in less than 5 minutes of the call for service. And when we enter the house, we see that Crystal Kinney, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead.
Apparently, she knew that his drinking and drug use was getting out of control. She wanted him to get help, turn to religion, either or both. Basically, as a loving wife should, she wanted him to do better, wanted him to be better. Maybe she held on to that hope for him for a little too long, and she should have just left for the safety of her family and herself. Investigators later found out that he was beating on her regularly. She never called the cops, maybe out of some misplaced sense of loyalty to her husband. Someone that can go from 1 to 10 for something so minor is a danger to everyone in the home. You never know what version of that person you're going to get, and clearly he was escalating. Tragedy occurred in Florida just days before Christmas after an argument over what to watch on television became deadly. On Monday, December 22nd, authorities received a call from a woman in Lakeland just before 11 p.m. explaining that her 12-year-old neighbor ran over and asked her to dial 911, according to a press release from the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Grady Judd, Jason Kinney, 47, had been watching football and was drinking before shooting his wife, Crystal Kinney, and 13-year-old stepdaughter, Sheriff Grady Judd said during a press conference held the following day. Sometime toward the end of the game, around 11, an argument began when Crystal suggested they watch something else on television, Sheriff Judd said, and the argument got really heated.
We found a note that at some time in the past Crystal wrote, and it was open, where she told Jason, you know, you're drinking, you're using cocaine again. This is not the way the family should be. You need God. Crystal, by the way, goes to church every Sunday. We don't know when she wrote the note. It's not dated. There's no time. There's no indication, but it was open. So did she write it as they argued earlier in the evening, or had it been some period of time? We can't determine that. We also were able to talk to the 12-year-old, our Christmas miracle. She said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, and he shot me anyway.
It's mentally and emotionally draining to live in a house with someone, and every time you make a suggestion or even speak your mind, the potential is there for a big argument, especially after he's been drinking, because if he could do this over supposedly what to watch on TV, it had nothing to do with TV. TV is just a symptom of a bigger problem. Then it was only a matter of time. If it wasn't that, it would have been something else. He was a ticking time bomb. When deputies arrived at the home, they found Crystal dead in the living room with a gunshot wound to her head, the PCSO release said. Crystal's daughter was found in her bedroom with 2 gunshot wounds. The couple's 1-year-old girl, his only biological child in the household, was in her crib unharmed. The teenage girl was shot in the shoulder and she shot in the face, Sheriff Judd said during the press conference. We later learned the bullet in the face hit her on the bridge of the nose, went straight up and out of the top of her head. She is alive in critical condition but stable at Lakeland Regional Health and is alert and talking. That's a Christmas miracle, he added. Yes, it was. Jason shot her twice and intended to kill her. Yes, he did. After the shooting, the PCSO said that Jason fled the scene and called his sister to tell her that he'd done something bad, but that he was not going to jail. Pussy. He told her that she would see it on the news, the PCSO said.
And I know you said there hadn't been prior domestic violence related calls. Did he have any other, history of any sort of violence?
No criminal history.
So Kenny shot everyone in the home except for his biological child. And I don't quite know what the significance of that is, but possibly he was still present enough in that state of mind to know who he wanted to shoot. The daughter begged for him not to shoot her. He shot her anyway. The son left to call the cops, so he probably would have been shot also. It points to him knowing exactly what he was doing in that moment and not just all blind rage. Beautiful couple. I guess you never really know what someone is going through behind closed doors, behind all the smiles and the social media pictures. Like Grady Judd said, when the deputies walked in and they saw this nice tree all done up with plenty of gifts behind it, you don't know what people are going through under surface level. Jason drove to his deceased father's home, and when deputies arrived, they heard a single gunshot. They found Jason dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Crystal's 12-year-old son was not shot during the incident, the sheriff said. The 3 children are currently with grandparents. This is horrific, but destroying a family and the mental health of these children so close to Christmas is especially horrific, Sheriff Judd said in a statement. We will do everything we can to help this family get through this difficult time.
We talked to another family member, and that family member said, oh, he's been beating on her for a while. So we've checked our records to see if we received any calls at the residence, and we have not. He has never been arrested for domestic violence. Quite frankly, it's not surprising. Some women protect their husbands, and she never called on him. But apparently, he's been known for injuring her in the past.
Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. You know what you do? You finish the game at a friend's house. You finish the game in another room. All I'm saying is there were more options than going nuclear, homicidal, then suicidal. Then, like a true coward, didn't want to face the consequences of his actions. Why don't these nut jobs ever save folks the heartache and just shoot themselves first? Why is offing themselves always the last piece in the thought process? I believe they're cowards. And once the chemicals level back out again, the dopamine, the endorphins, the adrenaline, the cocaine, the alcohol, whatever the hell it is, they can't face law enforcement. They can't face a judge, other family members. Hell, they can't even face themselves. Family of student shot by taser on Fulton County school bus calls for justice. He could have died.
You gonna get off, or you gonna make me take you off?
Fulton County school officials confirm they've seen this viral video on social media of the 2 school officers trying to get the student off the bus.
These kids gotta go home. I'm not playing with you.
I'm trying to go home.
But you don't ride this bus.
You can hear the cops tell the Langston Hughes High School student it's not his bus, so he has to get off. He refuses, then after about a minute, one of the cops deploys his taser.
Now get up! Try it my way. Try it my way.
Now, this was egregious. Excessive force wasn't only his go-to move. It looks like excessive force was his plan. That was his option A, B, and C. Do you know a 60-year-old bus aide could have resolved this with absolutely no discrepancies? Then they probably don't want to deal with children in the first place. It makes you wonder, why are they assigned to school? Why aren't they needed on patrol tackling real-life criminals instead of antagonizing school kids to compensate for not being in a more challenging role in their careers? Basically taking their anger out on these kids. The family of an 18-year-old Fulton County student is asking the county for accountability after an officer used a taser on him during a confrontation on a school bus. Now, he was definitely on the right school bus, as the students told the police officers, as he told the police officers. And so what if he wasn't? Does it still call for him to get tased, handcuffed, dragged off the bus, and beaten? Are those the only tools you know as a police officer? Video of the incident, which happened last week on a bus leaving Langston Hughes High School, was quickly shared online. According to the family's attorneys, Langston Hughes senior Lanier Johnson, he's a senior, Hunt got on the bus. He rode every day to get home and take care of his 6-year-old brother, who was diagnosed with autism. On that day, however, attorneys say the driver claimed that he wasn't on the right bus and called administrators to remove him. So we have the bus driver, himself, and the administrators. He wasn't showing any signs of becoming violent, rude, or disrespectful. So what were the cops doing there in the first place? Why did you have to insert them and just make things a powder keg, a perfect storm for things to go wrong? All it would have took was a quick 20-second phone call to the office. Yeah, he belongs on that bus. It would have been done. We wouldn't even have this story. The situation eventually escalated to 2 officers being called onto the bus to try to remove Johnson Hunt, despite him and other students saying that he was supposed to be there.
Let's go.
A district spokesperson didn't release any details about what led up to the tasing, citing student privacy, but called it an isolated incident.
I'm gonna hit again. Let's go. I'm gonna hit again. Get up. Get up.
Get that away from me.
Get up. I'm gonna hit again. Let's go.
The district says the officer has been removed from duty during the investigation. In the video, after the student is up, the taser sounded like it was deployed a second time.
Lanier's a senior. He's been riding the same bus since freshman year. He knows what bus to get on. Apparently, a new bus driver has been doing the route for the past several months, but even after several months, 5 days a week, you should have some familiarity with the kids you're picking up and or dropping off. Now, between the bus drivers and school staff, this should have been easily cleared up. Oh yeah, that's Lanier. He's been riding this bus nearly 4 years. Done. Now, I don't mind the practice of having cops on school grounds. I think it's necessary, especially in 2025. But what exactly is the scope of their responsibilities? Are they supposed to stop violence in the schools or make sure kids are on the right bus? In a video of the incident, one of the 2 officers, you heard correct, 2 officers, a nutsack of policemen, asked Johnson Hunt, "You want to get off or you want to make me take you off?" Does that make you feel like a big man, like a big bad cop standing over a 115-pound kid in your full police gear, barking orders at him, loud and wrong? The teen tells the officers that he is trying to get home, to which they respond that he is on the wrong bus. Eventually, the officers tried to remove Johnson Hunt by force. What do you mean force? He's 115, 120 pounds at the very most between the 2 of you grown-ass men, pulling him off the seat. Attorneys say the officer then put his hands on the teen's neck and used his taser directly on the student's chest. This is what pisses me off in so many of these police stories. There's always more than one cop, and the second cop is either standing idly by watching or he's riding right along with the BS, being wrong with the BS. During a press conference on Tuesday, attorney Harry Daniels got Johnson Hunt to show the wound left behind the taser. This was a child attending school who was simply trying to get home, using a chokehold, using a device to burn his body is beyond excessive, Daniels said. Once off the bus, Johnson Hunt said the officers put him in handcuffs and that one of the men slapped him and tried to use the taser again. Big bad cop. Does that make you feel good, abusing a teen in handcuffs? Does it make you feel like you earned your badge? School administrators intervened and attempted to resolve the situation. Your time to resolve the situation was way before the cops even came up. It would have been very simple for you. I say this all the time. When we can't be civilized and resolve our disputes amongst ourselves, believe the cops will come in and make a complete mess of things. And that's exactly what they did. Claim that the officer continued to act aggressively toward him.
And Lanier was afraid to go to the hospital with him. He wanted to go to the hospital. He just didn't want an officer to take him to the hospital, especially an officer who was continue to try to assault him, but he was in handcuffs. So, like you said, it's more to this story for all the ones who talk about he should get off the bus. Well, when he got off the bus, they put him in handcuffs, he was still being assaulted. See, it's more to what you see on the video, and it's the reason why we believe why Fulton County and the Fulton County police department suspended this individual. What's his name?
Jimmy Durden.
Durden. So, we just want to make sure that his story get told.
Physical scars might heal, but you can tell he had trouble even talking about this. This is going to be with him for a long time. It's traumatic. I've watched him talk about this on a few news clips, and he's soldiering through it, but you can still tell it's not easy. It's already out there that officer's school bus has a history of being extra, and that bus driver is a little off too. I'm looking forward to seeing what type of disciplinary action comes out of this. They're mentioning federal, and I'm all for it. Get it all under a microscope. They had to pull him back and pull him away to get him to cool down, he said. Now, Lanier said he's never had any interaction with this cop at all prior to this happening. So what has Officer School Bus so riled up? Johnson Hunt was charged with resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and obstruction, which I think is a smoke screen to try to give him some charges to make it look like he was in the wrong, like he was doing something bad. The same thing the school did, suspend him to try to cover their ass to make it look up front like he was in the wrong. His mother, Sharita Johnson Hunt, said that when she first received the phone call from the school administration, she was told that her son was on the wrong bus, had given officials the wrong name, and was trying to fight the officer. If they genuinely would have asked, they would have knew he was on the right bus, she said. Absolutely. It's just scary because he could have died. Absolutely. You tased him in the middle of his chest. He could have died. The teen received medical attention the next day. While he says he's recovering, he still feels the impact from the day. On my chest where I got tased at, it still burns like I'm on fire. He said he's not going to forget this ever. Johnson Hunt also received a 10-day suspension from school. Attorneys are working to get the suspension lifted. In a statement, not just lifted, just get it taken off his record, period. In a statement, Fulton County Schools said that the incident is being taken seriously and is currently under review. It didn't even have to come to this. The officer has been removed from active duty pending the outcome of an investigation, a spokesperson said.
I just wanted to speak on the situation of when I first received the phone call from administration, how they tried to play a completely different narrative. They called me and told me Lanier was on the bus trying to fight the police officer. He was actually on the wrong bus. They couldn't get him off the bus. They said that he gave the wrong name. Long story short, none of those things were true. He was on the correct bus. They never asked him his name. They asked another student what his name was. He was not combative. No, he didn't get off the bus after the second time because they lit them off and put them back on the bus. No, he did not get off, but I just don't feel it. Tasing him in his chest was the correct thing to do.
Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. Whoever is in that administration needs to be fired. Whoever's on that staff needs to be fired because they went to lying to this child's mom immediately to cover their own ass. You know your child. So for them to say a plethora of things, fighting on the bus, refusing to get off the bus, giving a wrong name, getting on the wrong bus, you know if that's characteristic of your child or not. Just telling her basically any and everything to build the preconception that it's him, not us. Fun show. The music for this episode is from Will B. Alexander. Get your music from Will B. Alexander. I'll leave the contact information down here at the bottom. If you're a producer and you would like to have your music featured on an episode of this podcast, reach out to me on any one of my socials. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials. Find me wherever you listen or watch your favorite podcast. I am there. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Jusqu'à la prochaine fois. Once off the bus, Johnson Hunt said the officers put him in handcuffs and that one of the men slapped him. So when did this become something to get arrested for, just being on the wrong bus, and tried to use the taser again? School administrators intervened and attempted to resolve the situation. You should have stepped in long before the police even got to this point. You fucking...